The NFL draft is 3 weeks away. It is time to go big or go home today on Mock Draft Monday on Locked On Chiefs.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back for another episode of Locked On Chiefs, your daily podcast covering the Kansas City Chiefs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Thank you for always making Locked On Chiefs your first listen of the day. Don't forget, we're free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. I am Chris Clark from Chiefs Corner. You can go find me over on Substack at Chiefs Corner. This is Ryan Tracy from Rogue APC and NFL 33, RGR Football, lots of different areas that you can find him. Today, we're going to be talking about the NFL draft, getting ready for a mock draft that is going to try to go big or go home on this one. And the NFL draft is just about 3 weeks away. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Absolutely love their product. Monarch Money is awesome. So much to talk about when we start talking about the NFL draft. We're going to talk about how many 53-man spots could be coming from this draft a little bit later on. But we're going to start with who's worth trading up for in the Reed system. And again, Mock Draft Monday, I always love these. The NFL draft is just a couple of weeks away at this point. This is always one of my favorite times of year when it comes to the football season, other than football season. So let's get started.
You know, it's my favorite too. And folks, apologies for the voice. I am sick as a dog, but we're going to get through this show and have a good time. So if you're not watching on YouTube, make sure you jump over and take a look at it. We're using PFF as we usually do, set up for middle position on positional value versus draft for needs, back and forth, a little bit of randomness. And we're trying to use more of the balanced board, and we will see what we get. Now, as far as trading up, I'm becoming more and more convinced that this is a draft where if they're going to get the premium talent that they need at one of their positions of need, they got to go up. I would love to trade back personally, but I don't think Brett Veach will. I just don't see it in his DNA. Do you?
I don't think so. I would love to see them trade back, but I don't think that that's going to be an option. I can't see them doing that.
I completely agree. And so I let 19 run off here. Broncos are on the clock. We're not going to trade with them. But this is the area where I think it starts. When 20 hits the board, they got to start making calls if they haven't already. And I think a couple of things stand out to me here. Emeka Egbuka, a lot of people feel that he's going to be a fringe first rounder, could fall into the 30s. I think he's a fit in this offense. I think he can do anything you ask of him. And I think if nothing else happens, he is a guy that is worth taking, even at not one of your top needs, because of the fit and the amount that he can help on the target side. We already know that they've tried to fill in the tackle spot, right? So would you agree?
Yeah, I think that if you're looking at this, if he falls somehow to the 30s, you take him. So to me, I don't think that there's a question in my mind because you're always going to need wide receiver talent. And it can also take guys a couple of years to really get into the system and get better. So that's something that you also have to plan for.
I agree. And the planning is part of the devil in the details here. So when I look at trying to trade up, one of the natural spots is the Packers because they're obviously not an AFC foe. And then with that little group there of Steelers, Broncos, Chargers right at the beginning of the 20s, I just don't think they're going to get anything done in that group. I could be wrong, but that's the way it feels. So if I'm going to have to give up a second round pick, which it appears like we might be able to get them to trade for the first and the 95, but that's pretty lopsided. And getting back 124, which it appears we could do, doesn't really help them that much. So I'm wondering if we don't go a little harder and go at 63 for 87 and like a 159, something like that. So we're filling in that big gap from 133 to 226 that we have as well. And we're still staying in that top 100 range. So what do you think of that?
I'm good with that, but I will say the one thing I'll point out here is if they don't make it, I would not be shocked if they make it up to 18 or 19. If they find somebody that's still sitting there at 18 or 19 that they really like, I could see them trading it to 18 or 19. Obviously, they're not going to 17, and I don't think that they're going to be going any higher than probably 18. I think that's probably their range, unless somebody falls that they have marked down as like a top 5 talent in this draft that they think is somebody that they need to absolutely go get, that's somehow still there at 15 or 16. But I think 18 or 19 is probably the highest you're going to be going. Other than that, I do agree. I think it's probably going to be Green Bay.
Let's see if we can try this. We'll offer this trade, see if we can get her done, and we do. So we get the Chiefs up to 23, and we're going to see what happens in these 3 picks. And they go off the board. 2 of the guys that I would thought on the offensive tackle spot are worth it. Kelvin Banks and Josh Simmons both go there. 2 of my top 3 tackles. I only have 3 tackles with first-round grades. So that's off the board and cleans it out, which I kind of expected. But as I've been solidifying my grades for the defensive side of the ball this weekend, and folks, the Rogue APC draft guide will be out by next Monday. The Athletic Matrix version 2 is out now. So go to rogueapc.com and use your code LOC for all of you Locked On listeners. You get a discount. Go get that stuff now, because the guy that has stood out to me more and more as a fit is not somebody that comes without baggage, but somebody that can do the one thing that we have to have if you're going to go defensive tackle, and that is pass rush from that spot. For me, I was hoping that this would fall this way. Walter Nolen's still on the board. Trading up for him does make some sense to me. He might fall, but I don't think there's any reason to take a chance when you need to get another interior pass rusher. That's what I would do here.
Well, and it goes beyond just having to get an interior pass rusher. You have to get interior pass rush, but you also have to think outside the box of, okay, Chris Jones is in his 30s. You have to have a replacement for him in the future. And so trading up and going and getting a defensive tackle makes a lot of sense.
What's really interesting is the one trade offer we have to get out of this pick is the Green Bay Packers, because they want their pick back. So we're going to nab him and roll with it. So Walter Nolen going to provide that 2-man punch on the inside. And then you allow FAU to come along. You allow the guys to fill in behind George Karlaftis. Charles Omenihu's back on the roster. Mike Dana. We'll see what else they can do. I'm going to stop it here at 53, and we'll talk possibilities here when we get back from the backside of this. There's a message from our sponsor, Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was waiting, wondering, and worrying if you were going to get all that money back, and then waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now, taxes is matching with the TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as early as today. An expert who gives you your taxes their undivided attention so that you can, they'll work on your turn so you can have real-time updates on their progress while you focus on your day. The expert will find every deduction possible from every file, every investment, everything for 100% accuracy. All you have to do is get the most money back, and it's guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, and no worries. Now, this is taxes. Get a tax expert over at TurboTax.com. Only available TurboTax live, full service, real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Now we get back on the horse here. We're at 53, and we are now holding 63, 87, and 95. So my question to you is, do you want to try to go up for anybody that might be on the board now?
I don't think I have anybody that I think that they need to go up and get. So I think that at this point, it's just a matter of seeing what's available and taking somebody that you like and think it fits one of your needs. Don't chase a need, obviously, but
sure. So we let this resume, and it's going to go pretty slow. Darren Porter goes. I'm just trying to see if we could see the board without it, but we can't. So there went that idea. We're going to let it run down to 63. We're going to get on the board with our next pick and see what's here. And there went the guy that I thought might survive this long, an Ariante Ursary, so that you had an option on the offensive side of the tackle spot. But there are some other players here as well that do fit. And if you wanted to get serious, and if you want to give that defense a look, you could double up here. There are prospects with decent grades at this spot. Shamar Turner's going to hold out some value. I actually have Norman Lott above him. Like, you could go back to that kennel. You have an edge in Kennard that has some good power behind him. A lot of folks like Restrepo. I don't think Restrepo goes in the top 100 any longer. When you're a receiver and you run 4.84, there's just nothing you can do. I don't think that's going to happen any longer. So it comes down to positional awareness and need. The offensive tackle group is pretty thin, but people do like Trapillo. Sorry, did I say something weird?
No, I'm laughing because there's one of your boys on the board and you're not even talking about him.
There's one of my guys on the board all the time, but who are you talking about?
There you go.
Uh-huh. So, all right, if you're willing, I'll venture my case here. Elijah Arroyo is a guy that isn't going to give you any power lined up next to the tackle. That ain't his job. He is a split out tight end that can get behind linebackers, that can really press on to safeties. Now, he doesn't separate as great as you would like. Honestly, I don't think Travis did when he was a rookie either. Obviously, he didn't do much because of the injury rookie year. But if you were going to have somebody that could split out and do the 3-by-1 work and do the stuff that is more away from the center of the field, I think Arroyo is the guy that fits that caliber, that style most in this class, especially after Colston, who I do think is a better player. But I do like the fit of Elijah Arroyo from Miami here as a tight end spot.
At 63, you think it's worth it?
It's pushing it. It's marginal. I'd have to have the discussion. I'm looking at the board here on other positions of need, and I'm just not seeing the value. So does anyone stand out to you?
Nope.
Because
that's why I was open to the thought process.
Yeah, and I'd be looking here at corner as well. But knowing that we have 87 and 95, I think that we can come back and get those. There will not be another tight end that would fit that. So what about the wide receiver group? People like Jalen Royals, like his movement skills. Kyle Williams is a body that you would like to see in this. Jalen Nolan really offers you some speed that fits this group, as does Bond. So there's some options there too. But again, we have a pick in 22 picks or something. So I would probably grab the last remaining tight end myself. But what would you say, boss?
Let's take Arroyo.
Okay. On the board. There he goes. So we're going to drop down here. I'm not going to try to trade out of this anymore. I'm not going to try to do anything fancy. We get down to 87. We see who's there. Lo and behold, Kyle Williams, the wide receiver I was just talking about, is still there. And maybe one of the most underrated tackles in this group that a lot of people like the feistiness. He can probably play 4 positions for you. Wyatt Millam from West Virginia would be an option, I think, at this spot. You have the running backs here that a lot of people like in Devin Neal and DJ Giddens. So 2 home state guys. That could be an option as well. A lot of people like the athleticism that Anthony Belton brings as well. So if we did want to get a developmental tackle, that could be a spot as well on the offensive side. Where do you lean right now?
Wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm still of the opinion you take a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds every single year.
Okay, so are we going speed or size?
Man, Bond is sitting there, but he's not. That's tough.
It is, but I know my answer.
Take him.
Bada boom. Another Texas receiver comes to Kansas City because you cannot replace speed, especially in this offense. And now we're stuck with another interesting dilemma. We're at 95, and there's a couple of names on the board that fit. We don't really need guards, but Tate Ratledge would be a great option here. Giddens is still on the board. So is Devin Neal. Like if someone who doesn't want to take running backs in the first 100 picks, at 95, I could be, you could twist my arm. So I would probably get into that. But again, Belton is still on the board, a developmental tackle that a lot of people like his athleticism for. I actually like Latham Ransom quite a bit. They just signed Mike Edwards. So would you take safety off the board here?
I don't think they're going to be looking at safety, but again, it's going to be a question of, is somebody going to be willing to trade up? And I don't think we're going to be looking at trades. We don't have one of the things we talked about in that you actually had on the screen as we started this is how many can show up. They don't have the ability to have as many picks as they have right now that are going to be on this roster. So to me, we can look at another trade, but I think you just draft. And I think the reality going forward is if they're going to be making picks, they're going to probably be using some of those picks to move up to go get other guys, because there's no way that they have 8 guys, 9 guys that make the roster from this draft class.
Absolutely. Now we're in a tough spot though. At 95, this is our last pick for 30 picks. So we have 2 positional groups that I do like, because I do think you want more corner talent and you want more edge talent to go with what you're doing on the defensive line. You guys know I like Ashton Gillard. He's here, but so is Oladejo, and different kind of rusher. I wouldn't say that he's Anuche type that he's only a speed type that clearly didn't work out last year. So I could see taking either of them. And then the corner talent, which you always have to have, even in a backfield like this one, with Jacob Parrish still on the board, Kobe Bryant still on the board, Melo Dotson still on the board. Again, a trio from the area, all of whom I think can fit into this defense. Anything strike you there?
No, I think that they could go multiple different directions. Corner makes a lot of sense to me. I honestly, at this point, I'm still not opposed to going offense again and giving them a running back that they haven't had. So go right ahead.
Are we going power cat, buddy?
It's not gonna bother me at all. They need to improve the different skill players on the offensive side of the ball, and I don't love taking a running back at third in the third round, but at the same time, look at what you've already done. You've already got a defensive tackle that you feel pretty good about. You probably got somebody that can step in for Travis Kelce in 2 years, and you have a wide receiver in Bond who doesn't have to come in and be a starter year one, can learn the system, much like Rashee Rice 2 years ago and Worthy last year, and come in and play a much bigger factor in year two. So
very true. I will say this: if we do make this selection, though, we are saying Jalen Moore is our left tackle, and that's what we're doing.
There's not a left tackle that you're going to plug in right now. I don't think that there's a tackle that you're going to sit there and go, okay, this guy can compete with Jalen Moore this year. That's the problem.
Probably correct. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So DJ Giddens, Power Cat running back. Welcome to Kansas City. We're going to get back with our picks on day 3 right after this.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much money I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and I save much more. I absolutely love Monarch Money. I've been using it for over a year now, and it is everything that I was hoping it was going to be. It helps me budget my money. It tells me where I am on all my bills, and it tells me where my net worth is. It's so easy to use, and managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year.
Okay, we are back. We are into the day 3 here. Our first pick is going to be at 124. There's some options here on the board. We've gone running back. We filled in some of the offensive weapons because we had an opportunity to do so. Now I think we have to take a hard look at what we're doing on the defensive side of the ball. We go back and we look at corners available, etc. Alexander is probably the best guy on the board, I think, for fit. In terms of coming and being able to play some snaps at corner, there's not a ton there. There is another guy we could take later that I do like that could fit in this system. But do you feel a special need for a positional need, like a Jack Kaiser, the linebacker from Notre Dame, or a pass rusher, or what do you feel like?
I don't think that there's any positional need at this point. At this point, I think the Chiefs are looking at players and saying, okay, can they do anything for us on offense or defense? And if they can, what's their special teams ability? Because the reality is that you get down to this point where you're in the 4th round, these are going to be guys that are going to be special teams guys in year 1, more than likely. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, that's what you're going to be looking at. And you're also looking for guys that you're going to bet may be somebody that isn't ready right now, but can be ready next year. So that's the other part of what you could be looking at here.
Agreed. And I'm just looking around here at linebackers. We have 4 picks here. Does it make sense to try to use our next pick and a 7th to move up or anything like that, to maybe get closer to right behind this pick before we make it?
I think we probably stay where we are and try to see if we can use 255, 251, and 257 to move up past 226.
I like that. I like that a lot. We have offers on the table for 145. So if we wanted to take that with, yeah, that would easily be a move back. We don't want to do that, do we? We want to go up higher. So let's make this pick and then we'll pause it and see what we can do. Standout player here, again, is a safety that I think would be really fun to have Billy Bowman Jr. in town, run around in the backfield. I just don't know if he can make the roster year one. Easily practice squad. I do have confidence in that. But Noel Williams is an interesting corner as well. Just looking at fit here.
If you don't think he's making the roster as a 4th-round pick, you're not taking him because you're not going to risk losing him to the practice squad or losing him trying to put him on the practice squad. That
is a fair point. I do like the wide receiver talent here. Corner talent's getting a little thin, like I said, with Zaya out there. Let's look at, we mentioned the safety group. Let's look at our edges. To review, we have not gone edge. We have 3 offensive players, as well as our top pick. We traded up for Walter Nolen, a concept that I do enjoy. Savion Jones on this roster, on this board still, a guy that a lot of people do like in Kansas City for rush ability. He is a power-based rusher. I could see that happening. Tyler Batty, I do think he's a little bit underrated for what most people like. I have some pass rushers farther down, but it looks like my guy Robinson may already be gone. So that is, unless he's listed as an interior, which he could definitely be. So he's somebody that I always look for because I think he and Tonka Hemingway are underrated for the most part. But I'm not seeing anybody that's screaming at me, we have to have him here. So best player available on the board where they have any kind of gap to me is that spot, Billy Bowman.
Take it.
Okay. Well, we'll see what he does and see who he pushes. There's some veterans on this team that might need to get might be able to get kicked a little bit. We come on down to 133, and that's where we're sitting now. And now I think it's just absolute open season. Do we look at athletes here? Do we look at size? I love Torrey Horton and what he can bring to an offense. As Alexander, as we mentioned, looking down here, would you go like a rookie quarterback on day 3 as an investment?
Why are you asking me? Because I have made that case for so many years, and you always laugh at me saying they're not going to take a rookie quarterback. And this is the one year where it looks like I don't think that they have room for a rookie quarterback.
Well, I just wanted to hear you say it. That was my goal.
Okay, well, I would do it. Like, if you think that you can get anything out of the QBs here, because the other reality is you're still in the 4th round. Mm-hmm. Are you going to get value out of a pick in the 4th round? Is it possible? Yes. But you have to know exactly the traits that you're drafting for, and you have to hit somebody at a specific position that is going to be able to make the adjustment from where they are to the NFL. So,
agreed. I would be tempted to put Torrey Horton on this roster just because I like the fit for the player. And if you want to upgrade from the bigger bodies they have, that's what I would do. But probably if you really are serious about upgrading the running back spot, put Giddens on there. Might be a 3rd down only kind of back. You might look at Trevor Etienne as well. Kind of round it out from a big program, a guy that can run between tackles if you want,
Doubling up when you already have Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco and Carson Steele. I don't see them doubling up and drafting 2 running backs.
That's probably the exact opposite of what I would do. So I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm trying to find value. If it were me, I'd be trying to trade out of this pick in particular. But I would say if I have to stick and pick, I'm probably going to go to the bulk where I want something to get done. Kobe King could be a fit as a linebacker. I don't think that's particular value here. So maybe it is a power-based edge rusher. Savion Jones will put him on the roster and see what he can do to help them out. The rotation is going to be important, right? Because a lot of pressure, I think, is coming onto FAU. He's been doing some media lately, which I don't really understand because I would. Oh, you want to pause now, huh? Okay, so are we all in?
Like we're going to try to move up to 226.
Okay, ship them all, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, nobody's going to trade with us from the Raiders or from San Diego. So, yes, I said San Diego. Sorry.
184. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Will not be accepted. Ravens don't really want to either. Nobody's giving us anything for our piddly 220s. Maybe the
Yeah,
Jets
and they may
will.
not, and that's fine. Maybe we can't get up to the 180s, but can we get into the 190s? Can we get into very early 200s?
Cleveland will pull the trigger on something, right? No. There's too much logic in that. Detroit's thinking about it at 196. Let's see. Will the Bengals give one up? No. But Green Bay, we've traded with them once. 67%. You want to go up to 198?
Yep, let's do it.
For all the marbles, or hold on to Mr. Irrelevant? No, we need to do it. All right. We are going to take that over, see if they do it. Might have to make a couple of phone calls. This is the way that it usually works. But we are close to exhaustion here. Oh, and on the last try.
The last try, Veach was able to pull it off last
Lucky
second.
penny. Him with the lucky penny. Okay, so we are on the board for 198, our last pick of this mock draft.
There's your boy.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys in here, and I'm tempted to just go for it, but I want to give you your opportunity to talk about other players besides Ty Robinson from Nebraska. I do like Crawford here as a developmental safety. We already took one, so we're not going to do that. I do have to say I got a little anxious there. So best on the board does look indeed to be Robinson, in my opinion. Let's just add a few more positional needs here. Tim Smith, I'm probably not taking him over.
I'm taking Robinson mainly because if you think he's the best available at his position, you take him at this point because this is exactly what they've needed for a long time. They haven't invested in the defensive tackle position. This is giving them 2 picks at that position, which is a huge key.
Yep.
We already basically made it known that they're not going to be taking a tackle because there was never really a spot to take a tackle. That's the reality of how this is going to work out. So,
in this situation,
yeah.
One name to keep an eye on here, Elijah Ponder. He's being drafted by mock drafters a whole lot higher than he's ranked on PFF's board, but I think the league agrees with fans more. I think he'll be a priority UDFA, but just keep an eye on that name. Cal Poly, edge rusher. You don't hear that very often. Other names to stand out here. Ethan Downs has some fans out there, but Ty Robinson is the best fit for us. We're going to put him on this roster. We're going to review what we were able to get done because pretty happy with it. Again, this was a conscious decision to go get a player at maybe the second most important position, given that they were able to do something in free agency at offensive tackle. And by picking Walter Nolen, a guy who that has had a couple of off-field things, or people have questions back and forth, but that's okay. We get what they had to have on the defensive side to support that defense. We come back with Arroyo, the tight end, that can move around the offense. Isaiah Bond, they didn't like that pick. I don't care. It brings more speed to this offense, and that's what I'm here for, along with DJ Giddens. We come back on day 3 with Billy Bowman, Savion Jones, and Ty Robinson to round out the defense and bring that needed depth. Were there opportunities to go offensive tackle? Yes. Were there opportunities to get other wide receivers? Yes, there were. But in the end, we gave the offense a little bit of a pickup, and we gave the defense an injection of talent and depth that it desperately needed. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, me too. I think this is a good draft. I think that you filled defensive tackle twice. You took an edge rusher, safety, questionable need in my mind, but I get it. It is what it is. You're not always going to be able to take the guys that you want at the position you want to, but you should be helping them the offense with a tight end, a wide receiver, and a running back. So obviously the big question and people are going to ask is, you didn't do anything at the tackle position. It wasn't there. Like, you can't force it, and that's part of the problem with this.
There was one spot, and the board did call it out here on PFF. Wyatt Millam, I believe I mentioned him. He would have been an option there in the late 3rd as well, but not an exact fit. Would have taken some time, but again, a developmental prospect. You have that's what you're getting there at that point, the way that this draft fell. But don't worry, folks, because we're going to do another one next week. And the week after that, as we get ready for the real thing, the main event, the actual NFL draft, because it is coming. Thank you, guys. Make sure you like and sub. Well, we're going to do one a week.
We might do a couple.
We'll
see.
It'll be great. But please like and sub and hit the bell. Do all the things. Thanks for bearing with my voice today, and thanks to Chris for running the show when I'm not 100%. We appreciate you guys being here. Make sure that you check it out and you're with us all week because Matt Derrick's back. We're going through all the possibilities. My rankings come out for several positions as we get through the next couple of weeks. Check out KC Chiefs Corner and Rogue APC for the draft guide and the athletic matrix. Have a great one. We'll talk to you tomorrow.